I think someone gave Kathy Hohenschel from way back when I first started coming here a button that said cat herder. Luigi, shall we just unmute the mic and go?
Oh, yes, if we're ready, is it a good time?
It is. Yeah, it's 11 sharp. All right. So
I'll give you an intro.
I'll introduce Spirit of Life and... Good morning, UU Miami, and all of Miami. I am your hymn leader for today, CJ, aka Christopher John Weber. Today's soul singing is a last-minute change-up. However, considering it's hymn number 1, 2, 3 in the gray hymnal, and considering it's just one verse, one page, one time through, I think pretty much everyone here in our audience in the sanctuary should be able to handle it. Of course, everyone on the live stream watching, you're perfectly welcome to sing along as loud as you like, in your kitchen, in the shower, wherever you happen to be. But, also, I actually have a lanyard, and similar to this, anyone you see with lanyard on can certainly give you more information about UU Miami and what we're all about. But let's begin. Spirit of Life, hymn number 1, 2, 3, in the gray hymnal. Spirit of life, come unto me, sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion, blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice, roots hold me close, wings set me free, Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Good morning. Welcome everybody to UU Miami, both those who are here with us in the sanctuary and who are with us on the live stream today. Make yourself comfortable, find a seat, enjoy that cup of warm coffee on this slightly chilly day. I don't know if it counts. So welcome to our multi-platform space here at UU Miami. As a member of the Unitarian Universalist Association, we bring a liberal religious voice to the great city of Miami and from wherever you are watching today. So we acknowledge that right here in Miami-Dade County, our beautiful campus sits on the traditional lands of the Tequesta, the Seminole, and the Miccosukee. I am Christine Hughes-Pontier. I'm your worship associate today, and I'm working here with Luigi, who we are very honored to have, one of our very own, giving a message that's special to us and to him. I am wearing a teal blue, I don't know what this is, sweater, black jeans. I am a white cisgender woman with medium length dark hair and green eyes. I am joined not only by Luigi Ferrer, but also by Savannah Howard up here, who will be playing the piano today for us. So UU Miami is a community of brave, curious, and compassionate thinkers and doers. Currently, our Sunday services are guided by our worship committee, led by the incredible Jane Thayer, whose purpose is to support and strengthen our shared ministry. So while services are led by members of the Miami community and our Unitarian Universalist faith, we are also committed to nurturing and uplifting the spiritual leadership of individuals in our own congregation. We invite you to learn more about UU Miami. If you are newer to our community, you can find us on all the socials. You can email us, you can call us, you can talk to anybody with one of these lanyards and name tags. And if you've attended our services a few times, we invite you to consider membership.
It is our custom to light a chalice, symbol of our religious tradition, at the beginning of each of our services. Our chalice lighting words today are by Unitarian Universalist Albert Schweitzer and Christine Robinson. At time, our own light goes out, and it is rekindled by a spark from another person. Each of us has cause to think with great gratitude of those who have lighted the flame within us. We gather this hour as people of faith with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope as a sign of our quest for truth, meaning, and in celebration of the life we live together.
And now I invite you to join me in our unison affirmation. We will say it first in English and then in Spanish, and the words will be projected on the screen. Love is the spirit of this faith, and service is its prayer. In love, we agree to dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, and to help one another. El amor es el espíritu de nuestra fe, y el servicio es su oración. En amor acordamos vivir unidos en paz, buscar el conocimiento en libertad y ayudarnos el uno al otro.
Our story for all ages today comes from The Color of Light, Daily Meditations for People Living with AIDS by Perry Tijeras. There is an old Native American tradition known as Hayeyoka. The Hayeyoka, or sacred crowns, were people in the tribe who did things differently. They challenged people's thinking, they shook them up. Their function was to keep people from getting stuck in rigid ways of thinking and of living. They were also known as contraries because they did everything backwards. They walked backwards, they danced backwards. Everything they did was contrary to the norm. And by their living, they symbolized the shadow of the great Creator, reminding people of their spiritual center. For LGBTQ people, the role of Hayeyoka is especially important. Not only were Hayeyoka often queer, but their role as contraries, a sacred symbol of the role of LGBTQ people play in society as a whole. Not long ago, a handsome, courageous, young gay Indian named Richard danced Hayeyoka at a powwow. When I heard about this, shivers ran down my spine. It was a sign of remembering. It was a sign that we remember our relation to the Great Spirit and that of the Creator. His dance also made me realize that from the beginning, there has been a Hayeyoka response to AIDS. When the normal response was to react with fear and panic, there were people dancing backwards, responding with love and confidence. When every day the world began repeating a death mantra, our sacred clowns danced the dance of life. They talked about living with AIDS, about surviving, healing, and recovering. When the normal reaction to the diagnosis was isolation, our Hayeyokas dragged us into community. When the world wanted us to be victims, they drew circles of light around themselves and stood in their power. Whenever it got dark, they turned towards the light. Whenever people said, "There is no hope," they said, "There is always hope." Whenever people said, "This is not about us," they stood up and said, "This is about you. This is about all of us. Our planet is sick. Earth has an acquired immune dysfunction. We are all living with AIDS."
And now it's time to sing our children out to their religious exploration classes. All right, everybody, are you ready? We're doing this a cappella. Get your singing voices ready. Ready? May your mind be open to new learning. May your lips bring truth into the world. May your heart know love and your hands do the work of justice as you go your way in peace. As you go your way in peace. Yay, thank you. So now we're going to share some joys and some sorrows that are on our hearts. As a community, we support you both in your grief and your happiness. So when you come forward, just say your name, share what you feel moved to share. Remember, the service is live streamed, and also those online can share in the chat.
Good morning, I'm Bob Jacober. The election is over, so I bring an Apache blessing. May the sun bring us new energy by day. May the moon softly restore us by night. May the rain wash away our worries. May the breeze blow new strength into our being. And may we walk gently through the world and know its beauty all the days of our life. I add, may the part deep within me that is at peace with the universe meet the part deep within you that is at peace with the universe, and may we be as one. Namaste.
Thank you, Bob.
I hate having to follow up after you, especially since what I have today, CJ Weber, is probably more concerns than anything else. It occurs to me as November is now over that not a day went by in the month of November that I wasn't helping my mom with my stepfather, because especially since he fell and knocked himself out back in August, he's not been doing as well as he used to. And usually I'm the one helping pick him up off the floor and get him into bed or into the chair in the TV room. And it's made me very aware of the fact that the three of us could very shortly become two in the not so distant future. But anyway, that's just what's weighing on my heart, and I felt the need to share it. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Luigi Ferrer, and I have a joy to share. I was not with you last Sunday because I was in Cleveland visiting really family of choice. I went to celebrate Thanksgiving with Jessica, Michael, and Sophie up in Cleveland, and I'm so happy to be back to be able to observe World AIDS Day with you. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I am the other Christine, Christine Gregory. I have a joy, and I'm so proud of my husband, who I'm pointing him out, but he is wrapping up his first semester in his music therapy program, and he even passed his statistics course. So yeah, I don't wish that course on anybody, but you did it, and I'm very proud.
So for all of those joys and those sorrows that we're holding close to the heart, just taking a moment here to acknowledge. I appreciate everyone who shared with us this morning.
This reading is the Denver Principles, as articulated by the Advisory Committee of People Living with AIDS at the 1983 Gay and Lesbian Health Conference held in Denver, Colorado. And this is what people living with AIDS in those early days of the HIV pandemic had to say. We condemn attempts to label us as victims, a term which implies defeat, and we are only occasionally patients, a term which implies passivity, helplessness, and dependence on the care of others. We are people with AIDS. These are their recommendations for all people. Support us in our struggle against those who would fire us from our jobs, evict us from our homes, refuse to touch us or separate us from our loved ones, our communities, or our peers, since the available evidence does not support the view that HIV can be spread through casual social contact. Do not scapegoat people with AIDS or blame us for the epidemic or make generalizations about our lives or our lifestyles. Recommendations for people with AIDS. Form caucuses. Choose your own representatives to deal with the media, to choose our own agenda, and to plan our own strategies. Get involved at every level of decision-making. Specifically, serve on the boards of directors of provider organizations. Make sure we are included in all fora with equal credibility as other participants to share our experiences and knowledge. Substitute low-risk behaviors for those which could endanger us or our partners. We feel people with AIDS have an ethical responsibility to inform potential sexual partners of our health status. And these are the rights of people with AIDS as articulated in the Denver Principles. People with AIDS have the right to as full and satisfying sexual and emotional lives as anybody else. People with AIDS have the right to quality medical treatment and quality social services without discrimination of any form, including sexual orientation, gender, diagnosis, economic status, or race. These principles have been reworked and incorporated into federal legislation as what is known as GIPA or MIPA, greater involvement of people living with HIV/AIDS, or meaningful involvement of people living with HIV/AIDS, and the chant, "Nothing about us without us."
So I invite you into a time of meditation, finding a comfortable position, perhaps grounding your feet on the floor, letting your hands rest on your lap. Taking a few slow, easy breaths. Closing your eyes or just gazing downward, whatever feels comfortable for you. And noticing the breath. Noticing the sensations in the body as you breathe in and breathe out. No need to control or change the breath. Just allowing the body to breathe as it needs. Feeling the sensation of the body breathing in and the body breathing out. Noticing perhaps if there's any part of the body where you're feeling some tension or discomfort. allowing that part of the body to be softened and soothed with each out-breath. And if in this moment you're not noticing any areas of tension or discomfort, perhaps offering a smile of appreciation to your body for feeling good in this moment. Just resting your attention on the body as it breathes in and breathes out. Allowing yourself to feel whatever you are feeling and to be just as you are. And gently, as you're ready, opening your eyes, lifting your gaze. Thank you for sharing that moment.
Good morning. Again, my name is Luigi Ferrer, and I am a person living with HIV. Since 1988, December 1st has been designated as World AIDS Day. For 36 years now, on December 1st, people around the world have come together, just like we're doing this morning, to show their support for people living with HIV and to remember those who have died of AIDS-related illnesses. World AIDS Day is an opportunity to reflect on the great progress we've made. Remember, in the 80s, an HIV diagnosis was a death sentence. Today, it is a manageable chronic condition. To reflect on the progress we've made and raise awareness about the challenges that still remain to achieve our goal of ending the HIV pandemic here in the US and worldwide. For me, World AIDS Day has a very personal meaning. I came to Miami at age 18, and like many Latine young men today, and I want to make sure you caught that, it's Latine. The neutral, gender-neutral ending in Spanish is E. Latinx is an Anglicism, and people who speak Spanish and in the literature use the E ending for our gender-neutral words. So, like many young Latine men today, I went back and forth to my hometown in Puerto Rico before settling here permanently. And like many young Latine men who have sex with men today, by age 21, I was already HIV positive. When I was finally diagnosed at age 26, I felt great anger towards my parents for not having prepared me for the world. And for never having told me that I might someday feel attraction towards men or that I might fall in love with someone of my own gender. They never spoke to me about relationships or dating or forming a family, except for the admonition, don't get anybody pregnant. And for a while, my anger truly drove a wedge between us. But then I realized that they didn't have the information they needed either. That it was not their fault that they did not receive good sexual health education and were therefore incapable of transmitting that knowledge to me. And after that realization, I really began to reconcile with my mom. At this time also, I made a major change in my life, thinking I at best had maybe 2, maybe 3 years if I was lucky to live. I turned down a prestigious scholarship to intern at the Emperor of Japan's Marine Laboratory in Okinawa. I left my oceanography program and instead took the position of executive director at the Body Positive Resource Center, Miami's second AIDS service organization. I felt like I really needed to get to know the LGBT community, which I hadn't really been a member of until then, and that I needed to learn as much as I could about HIV and AIDS if I wanted to stay alive. And 40 years later, I'm still here. The good news about HIV is that we have made significant progress. HIV treatment works, and I am a living example of that. HIV-positive individuals who initiate antiretroviral therapy can become undetectable in about a month. And if you've never heard that word before, undetectable means that your viral load, the amount of virus in your blood, is so low that it cannot be detected with a lab test. So in a month, they can go from having a very high viral load and perhaps feeling a little ill to being completely healthy. Once undetectable, the virus does no damage to your body, and it also prevents transmission of the virus to others. Mother-to-child transmission has been largely eliminated, and although the best HIV vaccine that has been developed to date is only about 30% effective, we have pre-exposure prophylaxis, or taking HIV meds in order to prevent an infection, which is 99% effective. So anybody that feels they're at risk for acquiring HIV should be on this medication. We now have all the knowledge and technology we need to end the HIV pandemic. Diagnosing HIV-positive individuals early and providing the treatment they need, getting them to undetectable as quickly as possible, and providing PrEP for high risk, or for people at high risk of HIV infections will end the HIV pandemic. If people are undetectable, they can no longer transmit the virus, we stop the virus in its track. No one need die from HIV anymore. We now have all the knowledge and technology we need. The question is, do we have the will? Will we have the funding to do the work? Will our state leaders allow us to do the work? Miami has the highest rate of new HIV infections in the country, and we've been in that position for the past 12 years. There are several factors that contribute to this highest in the country rate of new HIV infections. The worldwide party city reputation of Miami, the constant wave of new immigrants coming from countries where HIV is not an issue, not knowing that they're coming to an HIV hot zone, and also coming from countries where there is no sexual health education provided to young people. They lack knowledge of healthy sexual practices. They lack good sexual health education. The lack of good sexual health education continues to be a major factor sustaining those highest in the country rates of new HIV infection. The fact that in the jurisdiction with the highest HIV transmission rate in the country, our youth, our high school kids have no sexual health education is unconscionable. The fact that our school board has, for 2 years, has failed to approve a sexual health curriculum for Miami-Dade County schools is something that, as members of this congregation and as Miami-Dade parents, we should do something about. And I'm going to let Christine take it from there.
So it is true that MDCPS has not approved a sex education curriculum, and because of that, they are not teaching it in schools currently. So let's consider what this curriculum could and should do for the 330,000 plus students that are in this third largest school district in the nation, right? So age-appropriate, comprehensive sex education provides so many benefits, but possibly most importantly, it provides accurate, science-based information that helps young people better understand their own sexual and reproductive health. It promotes healthy relationships by helping people understand the importance of respect, consent, and communication in relationships. It teaches young people how to set boundaries, recognize healthy versus unhealthy relationships, and how to engage in respectful communication with others. Comprehensive sex education promotes gender equality by addressing stereotypes and challenging harmful norms. It can reduce the stigma and shame surrounding the topics like puberty, sexual orientation, and gender identity. And it recognizes the diversity of sexual orientations, of gender identities, and relationship structures. By being able to offer this type of education, truly an exploration, this kind of curriculum helps to normalize conversations around sexual health and experiences, reducing the stigma, the shame, and the misinformation that often surround these topics. And it doesn't just provide knowledge for the present moment, it lays a foundation for our lifelong learning about our sexual and emotional health. It encourages people to continue seeking out reliable information, to communicate openly with their peers and with trusted adults, and to make choices that align with their values and in service of their own well-being. Who doesn't want that for their children? Or frankly, for your partner, right? But most parents have no idea where to start these conversations or how to start these conversations with their kids. And many, if not most, don't even feel like it's appropriate to bring up these topics with their kids. But when we do that, we are actively keeping information and strategies from them that can help them be well and healthy and safe throughout their life. The state of Florida likes to remind us frequently of our rights as parents. But our invitation here is to consider the rights of the children. What about their rights? Because of the discomfort of some adults with these topics or their own religious views and what they've been taught, some school districts in Florida have chosen, to have a sex ed curriculum that is not comprehensive, as I just described, but rather focused on that single concept of abstinence, which research has proven over and over is ineffective at keeping people safe and healthy. Miami has chosen not to approve a curriculum at all, which still deprives our students of this potentially life-saving education. For everybody sitting here today and those of you on our live stream, it might not surprise you to know that this is an important part of our Unitarian Universalist faith, is to support comprehensive sex education. Together with another faith community, we co-developed Our Whole Lives, often affectionately known as OWL, a comprehensive lifespan sexuality education curriculum that can be used in both faith communities and in secular settings. So Our Whole Lives provides accurate, developmentally appropriate information about a range of topics. And there's another course, most recently taught here at UU Miami by our very own Carly, that's Parents and Caregivers as Sexuality Educators. This course is really focused on helping parents explore and become more comfortable, even slightly more comfortable, tackling these topics in conversation with their children. So we're in a moment in time in Florida where having these spaces, these small groups, and these educational opportunities like OWL and like Parents and Caregivers as Sexuality Educators is absolutely urgent, right? These kinds of courses equip us to talk openly and confidently to support families in creating safe, informed, and affirming environments. And this is really important today because these conversations are not only usually neglected, but actively avoided, right? As a congregation, as UUs, we are committed to justice, compassion, and the inherent worth and dignity of all people. We could and should be the ones in Miami who people look to promote that culture of inclusivity and respect. We already create safe spaces for youth to explore their identities and build healthy relationships. This seems like a natural extension by providing the education, the support, and the resources needed to build that inclusive, respectful, and informed community for our future of Florida. And I want to thank Luigi for inviting me.
Yeah, I didn't think I could speak as a parent, but I wanted to have a parent be part of the service. So finally, as a health educator, I would be remiss if I didn't share with you our current HIV prevention messages. Tell everyone what I'm going to say, okay? If you don't remember anything else, if you don't know anything about HIV, this is what really matters. Number one, everybody should know their HIV status. If you've never been tested, that's a great reason to get tested today. If you're sexually active, you should be tested at least once a year. If you're really active and have several sex partners of unknown HIV status, perhaps every 6 months, right? And if you happen to be doing sex work, then probably every 3 months. So again, everybody should know their HIV status, get tested. When you take an HIV test, there can be two results, right? If you're negative, learn how HIV is transmitted and what you can do to prevent it. Safer sex practices, condoms, pre-exposure prophylaxis, even post-exposure prophylaxis, right? People who have a condom break or who threw caution to the wind and had sex without a condom can still go to the pharmacy or a AIDS service organization, get medication to prevent that exposure from becoming a lifelong infection. But it has to be done within 72 hours. So it's at that point, it becomes sort of an emergency situation. So again, if negative, learn how HIV is transmitted and what you can do to prevent it. If positive, HIV treatment can lead to a long, healthy life and prevent transmission to others, right? So at the health department, we have two initiatives that speak to this. Number one, U equals U. Undetectable equals untransmissible. We want everybody to know that message, because as people understand that, then people living with HIV will experience less stigma. They're no longer a danger to anybody, right, once people are undetectable. So U equals U is really important in combating stigma. And the second initiative that we have is test and treat. If somebody tests positive, that same day we try to get them connected to HIV care, because we know that the sooner that people initiate HIV treatment, the easier it becomes for them to integrate it into their life. So test and treat is the call of the day. So again, if positive, HIV treatment can lead to a long, healthy life and prevent transmission to others. Should I repeat those three? Okay, so everybody should know their HIV status, get tested. If negative, learn how HIV is transmitted and what you can do to prevent it. And if positive, HIV treatment can lead to a long, healthy life and prevent transmission to others. Thank you so much.
All right, my friends, it is now time to make an offering to this beloved congregation. On the screen, you'll find a QR code. You can scan it with your photo app on your phone to access our donation page. If you're here in the sanctuary, it looks like Zoltan will be bringing around a basket to receive your donation. From October to December, UU Miami splits the plate with Chainless Change, an organization that brings recovery, advocacy, and support to those negatively impacted by the criminal legal system. Let us now give an offering to strengthen and sustain this place and the work we do in the world. And I'm going to invite CJ up to lead our next hymn. So this one is hymn number 34 in the gray hymnal, Though I May Speak with Bravest Fire.
All right. Words on screen? Okay, words will also be projected on screen, which is very good for someone with a rote memory gift thanks to being neurodivergent, I guess, but I might need to look at the screen too, so. Shall we? Oh, okay, yes. All right. 34. Okay. Though I may speak with bravest fire and have a gift to all inspire, but have not love, my words are vain and sounding brass and hopeless gain. Though I may give and striving so, my love confess, but be not given by love within. The prophet soon turns strangely thin. Come, Spirit, come, our hearts control, our spirits long to be made whole. Let inward love guide every deed. By this we worship and are freed.
All right, thanks to the very many, and there are many people who make this Sunday service happen every week and who keep our UU Miami community running. From our dedicated staff to our steadfast volunteers, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we see and feel your devotion. Special thanks this morning to CJ for leading our hymns. Thank you very much, sir. To Savannah, who we threw a few curveballs to this morning, and she took it all in stride. Thank you so much. To Derek for running our AV and live stream, also rolling with all the punches. Thank you, Derek. And Luigi for leading us in worship today. Thank you. And thanks to all of you for being here and joining us this morning. So we always like to share a little bit about what's going on in our community so that you know where our time, attention, and energies are being placed in our work in the world. So next week, we obviously want to invite you back on Sunday for a service by Derek Mustelier. The time is now. The liberal religious revival. So in a rapidly changing world is crying out more than ever for our healing message of justice, compassion, reason, joy, and love. How do we bring that message to the world? And how are we called to respond to the needs of an increasingly fractured world? Is what we will be contemplating next week. As for today, please join us for lunch after the service. I am not sure who supported but we will figure it out and we will thank you. Please stay and chat with folks while enjoying a lunch together. And if you're interested in helping out with lunches, check out the sign-up form in our weekly connections. Every week there's a link if you want to help provide lunch, if you want to contribute something. The information's in there. Today after lunch, we'll have a Social Justice Committee meeting at 12:45 in the Emerson Room, which is right across the breezeway there. Next Monday, December 9th at 7, the Worship Committee's meeting on Zoom. Please join us. And I am going to, let's see, is Jessica back in? Nope. Jessica is not back with the kids from RE class yet, but she is going to share a little bit about our winter pageant, maybe during lunch. We'll just grab a mic and tell us all about what we're planning for our winter pageant this season. And a reminder, I see the table in the back is looking especially full this week, yay. We're having a donation drive for Chainless Change. All the Sundays in November and December, our Social Justice Committee is collecting gift items that will be distributed by Chainless Change, the program of support and advocacy for people emerging from jails and prisons. Chainless Change strives to promote the genuine health, safety, and liberation of our people, all our people. You can find the list of items that they are gratefully accepting on the table over there or in our weekly Connections newsletter. And in perfect timing, I see Jessica walking in right now. Excellent timing, my friend. All right, would you like to share something about our pageant next?
Yes, absolutely. Hi, everybody. So I'm MJ, and I'm going to be part of the winter pageant in 2 weeks. And so I need your help because this year, unfortunately, our RA program is a little fewer with kids than we had last year, which means we need more hands for our puppet show. So if you were here last year and got to see our wonderful puppet show called We Are the World, I would like to invite you, if you want, to do some hands behind the stage with a puppet just like so. And I'll teach you how to use the puppet because it's all about using it. All right? And the script is already written, so you don't actually have to speak. You just have to have a hand in the puppet and move along with the lyrics. So if you're interested in volunteering, please come see me after the service. I would love to have you be part of our program. And parents, if your kids are in the show, I encourage you to put them in there.
Thank you. So as we go in peace into the world, remember to act justly, to love mercifully, and walk humbly with your God and your beliefs. And I invite you now to stand and greet those around you, particularly those you don't know. Let us deepen our connections in this beloved community. Thank you for being here today.